Hello, everybody. We're back at it, Gerald International. I want to thank you for tuning in today. I'm also thankful for all new followers of my page. Definitely appreciate your support. Today is a great day. I say it every week. I say every week it's special, but it is actually. Every day we wake up is a special day. So, but today is very special that I have a great friend of mine. We go way back, Charlie Fortney, joining me today for our podcast. So we're going to get right into it today. Charlie, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join me today on this podcast. People are viewing this from all over our country. So we have likes and followers from everywhere. So you want to greet the people, Charlie? You want to say something?
Yeah, well, I'm glad to be here. Gerald Jarman has built a lot of credibility in my life over the years. Just a tried and true relationship for 30 years. Yeah, 19 years old, 31 years. We've been knowing each other, so I'm just proud to be a part of this movement and the next two podcasts, or we might turn it into 5 or 6, but now next couple podcasts are going to be very good. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on, man. So let's talk about your upbringing, childhood, things like that. Let's give the audience an idea or some understanding of how you were raised. I know the story, but let's just share with our viewers what it was like for you.
Yeah, I grew up in Steelton, right in Harrisburg area. Steelton's a pretty interesting town. A lot of people know about Steelton, but maybe not the viewers from afar. But it's a melting pot. It's kind of like a Pittsburgh throwback town, where the whole town, everybody worked at the steel mill. The whole town's on one big hill, just like out in Clairton, Pennsylvania, out in Pittsburgh, where everything's on a hill, and a steel mill kind of runs the town. But it's a very multicultural town. The slogan in the town for years was, a town with a big heart. It says many. If you go down in Steelton now, it says many races, many cultures, but one spirit, one heart. So I grew up in a town that was highly cultured: Croatians, African Americans, Caucasians, a lot of Slovakian. A lot of people had to learn to live together, play sports together. It's well known for that, and it still is. So I just was thrown into at a young age, from the time I was little, playing sports, just thrown into a melting pot, which came with a lot of experiences at a young age, a lot of youth experiences that maybe a kid living in an all-white town, or a kid living in an all-black neighborhood, or a kid living in an all-Hispanic area just wouldn't experience. I think the kids in our town, no matter what race you were, could all say, we run into each other, or we're good friends today, all of us, we run into each other and go, wow, nobody knows what we went through. Nobody knows who we are. It's a kind of strong bond.
Wow.
It's a real strong bond. You run into, in fact, we joke with each other when we run into each other in stores and stuff, all good things come through Steelton. Because we'll talk about different kids in the area, or successful quarterbacks that are at other schools, and we'll go, oh, his mom went to Steelton. Oh, his uncle was from Steelton. No wonder that kid's so good. He was from Steelton. So I'll stop right there so we can go to another question, but we just think the bond and the unity and the strength from all of our experiences prepared us for this real world that we live in today. And I think that's why so many kids that come from that heritage and then just become successful in this life, they're just prepared for the real world.
Wow, that's interesting. And I had the privilege, when I first moved up here to Pennsylvania, I'm originally from North Carolina, as most of the viewers know, but Charlie was my avenue and ticket to moving up here in the area in central Pennsylvania, for those who don't know. And I had a chance to live in that area and met some really great people, loyal people, and some of those people I still stay in contact with today. So Charlie, share with us, how were the relations between you and people of color? Like, I know you alluded to that a little bit, but how were your perspective from home versus or compared to your relationships coming up with,
Yeah, and I think everybody knows this in society and the world. There's, oh my gosh, hundreds of races or cultures, I should say, in this country, but society is only talking about black and white.
Yeah, right.
And unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
and I think everybody agrees. I even saw something with Don Lemon last night and Stephen Jackson. All
Mm-hmm.
like, they were talking about the disrespect toward the Jewish culture and stuff. So I think everybody agrees that the conversation is somewhat disrespectfully just on black and white. And what about Hispanics? My wife's Hispanic, so what about, but we're here, we're there, that's what we're talking about. So in my town growing up, didn't matter how many cultures were there, the subject and the conversation was on black and white all the time. Mm-hmm. And because of the view I had and my friends had, and we talk about it today, it was very ironic that the same conversations were happening in both households. Like the conversations in the white households were happening in the black households. And so there's one way to look at that where it's like, okay, human nature is the same. Human nature can be prejudiced. Mm-hmm. Whites can be prejudiced for sure. I grew up in the white culture. I'm fortunate to have a mother and father that they never talked about that. Like my mom and dad talked about what's fair, like treating people fairly, treating people the right way. My friends that often came over to my house were mostly African American friends because I was into sports and those were the kids I played ball with. Mm-hmm. So my dad was just always so receiving. Like, I mean, he would hand me a $20 bill on the way out the door to go to the mall, and he'd hand one of my friends that were with me the same $20 bill. He didn't give them $10, And if we had to rake up leaves in the yard, he'd hand them all $5. I never heard in my house, fortunately, praise God, I've never heard a parent say, don't hang around this boy or this girl because they're African American. Mm-hmm. Now, I think what happens in our cultures is there's the conversations that happen I'm driving or dribble my basketball down the hill in Steelton, mm-hmm. and a car might pull up, and this happened more often than not, where the window would get down. It might be someone who's a supporter of the basketball program. Mm-hmm. It might be, and it wasn't always white, but like if it was a white fan or supporter, they might say, "Hey, why aren't you passing this kid the basketball? Is it because he's black?" So there would be like conversations among the fans that would come from the kids. It would almost like permeate in the community, and then that would probably happen on the other side. Why aren't you throwing the ball to that kid because he's white? And so there was a lot of divisions, and there was a lot of words that made us as kids. We're just little 12-year-olds, for goodness sake, or 13-year-olds or 14-year-olds. So the window would go back up and the car would drive away, and the person would usually say, "Look, just get along so we can win some more basketball games." Right. I mean, there should be a movie made of steel. It's like a movie, the window goes down and the mafia guy comes up to you and let's win some ball games, and they drop you off at the store and give you $5 for food, and it actually happened a lot. But the bottom line is, I think what adults are saying affects kids. So I'll be honest, as a young kid, 13, 14 years old, I actually would say to myself, am I racist? Am I racist? Somebody told me I was. Because I got in a fight and the person I was fighting with was a black kid or a Hispanic kid from the West Side, or like because I stood up for myself, somebody told me I was racist because I was the only Caucasian that was willing to stick up for myself in an incident. So I would actually question that myself. And so what's interesting, Gerald, I had a friend. He's a friend now, but he was actually a mentor as a kid. Okay. And I'm going to say his name so he hears it if he ever gets a chance to watch this podcast. His name's O.J. Jackson from Steelton. He's probably 81 right now. Him and my dad they often talked a lot, so they're about the same age. And he saw something in me. He was an African-American man in Steelton. Mm-hmm. Now, he had a younger son, but no kid our age. Okay. And he went ahead and saw that I was one of those kids that was just very active in sports. I was a standout athlete. And he came along and said, "Hey, I want to help this kid out." He grabbed me and took me to a camp, drove me to Messiah College. It was a Christian camp. Mm-hmm. And he took one of my teammates who was an African American teammate, and we didn't know it at the time, but I think he was forecasting that, look, I want to take these two strong personality athletes, and I want to put them together, and I want to room them together at a camp where they can learn more about life than sports. And it was a Christian camp, so naturally, me and this young man went to camp together, and we bonded that week at camp. You know, and so I didn't know it, but later, if you fast forward to later in life, as you and I meet in our relationship, that was so foundational that athlete there saw a heart in me that he didn't see because I wasn't from the same neighborhood, and we got to know each other's hearts. So like we came back after that camp, and it immediately brought our team together because they saw us joking about stuff and laughing about stuff, where before there was like these defensive walls.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody knew where they were coming from, and so it was awesome. But that was a great precursor to the rest of my life, because it was there that I met Christ in my life. I met Jesus in my heart. And that started a relationship with God. And I thank OJ, an African American older man in the community that saw something different in me and said, he wanted to really make a difference in my life and this other young man's life as well.
Wow. Well, just for the viewers, Charlie is someone that has a heart for people, has a love for people. No matter what color, skin tone, I've known this man for 30 years or so.
30. Yeah, we should have a 30th. We should have a party. 30th year anniversary, by the way. We need to get a cake.
Yeah. So
in fact, it is about 30. We got to figure that out.
Seriously, it's about 30 years. So, but yeah, very outstanding young man in the community. I've grown close with his family, and I wanted to have some time that he and I could be on the podcast together, just because of what's going on in our nation, in our country today. Obviously, we see the obvious differences as far as our shade color. However, this is my brother. Okay, and Charlie will say the same thing about me. We're brothers from another mother. So, but I just wanted to have this time, and this is the first opportunity. We'll be back on Thursday for part 2 with Charlie. But Charlie, you see this shirt here.
I love that shirt. Let's breathe together. I think that's an amazing idea. Can I get one of those?
Sure. So I have one for you, Charlie. Surprise, surprise.
It better be a double extra large.
There you go.
All right, I'll squeeze an XL on. That's awesome.
Yeah. So again, viewers, thank you for tuning in today. I'm about racial reconciliation. Getting rid of the divide, the tension, and we can grow together. Am I supportive of my race? Yes, I am. I'm pro-black, and I'm not afraid to say it. Okay. I serve in an organization now, Inner City Ministry, called the 3-Star Foundation. I served as the president of that for 14 years, and it's on the ground, working in inner city. My organization, we work with families. I'm in the homes of some of the blacks in the program, working with them educationally, helping them get jobs. So yes, I'm an advocate for the black community. Yes, I am. And I've been that way for years. However, at the same time, God has called us as a people, as one race of people, okay, to reflect who he is.
That's right.
Because he has a love, and he created everyone to serve him and to do it together. Yeah. So, all right, so this is really good. We're going to continue this on Thursday. Again, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like my page, follow my page, Gerald International, and we'll see you on Thursday. All right? Have a good day.
Perfect.